Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins in 1984 East Germany, with a description of Stasi, a force in East Berlin with 100,000 employees and 200,000 informers. With just one motto: to know everything. The next scene opens at a temporary detention center, where a guard brings a prisoner to Captain Gert Wiesler's office for interrogation. Guard opens the door and asks the prisoner to sit down, with his arms under his thighs. Captain then starts questioning the prisoner. This interrogation session is being recorded, and in a different scene, we see the captain playing the interrogation notes in front of the class. Gert keeps pausing the tape at intervals, to explain to his students why he is asking certain questions, and asks what students' analysis of the recordings are. The captain keeps playing different sets of recordings, the last one he plays, where the prisoner finally tells the name of his helper, for which the prisoner was initially detained, and the class ends with rounds of applause from students. While the students leave the class, Anton Grubitz enters the room, and tells Gert that he has been offered a professorship, and that they are going to a theater. In the theater, the act of the drama, Faces of Love, is going on. Grubitz tells Gert about Minister Hempf, who is seated in front, and the writer of the play, Georg Dreeman. The show keeps going, while Gert keeps analyzing the activities and body language of the minister and the writer, with the help of his binoculars. As the play ends, Gert talks to Grubitz, and says that he will get Dreeman monitored. To which Grubitz says that his suspicion is unnecessary, and that Dreeman is liked by the minister, and he also likes socialism. After that, Grubitz leaves to meet the minister sitting in front. There the minister asks him what he thinks of Dreeman, and he tells him, Dreeman might not be as clean as he looks, and leaves after a small chat. After the drama, Dreeman dances with the lead of the show Christa Maria Seeland, in a small restaurant. The minister looks at their dance from a corner, and then goes on the stage, to appreciate both the acting of Christa and the writing of Dreeman. After the applause, minister leaves the stage, and goes to Dreeman and Christa, where Dreeman starts talking about a previous director, named Jerska, who said something he should not have, but requests the minister to help him. While Hempf and Dreeman are busy talking, Gert and Grubitz observe them standing in a distant corner. They leave after the party, and Grubitz drops Gert to his apartment building. The next morning, we see Gert observing Dreeman, standing in a corner of the building. Gert stays there for a while, and monitors his whole routine. At night he sees a car stopping in front of his house, and Christa comes out of the car. The very next day, as Dreeman leaves the building, Gert and his team enter the house, and bug the whole place with microphones. In between, we see that Dreeman goes to Albert Jerska's house, and tells him that he has talked to the minister about his blacklisting, and there is some hope. Next, Gert is at his workstation, where he puts on his headphones, and starts listening to everything from Dreeman's house, with his receiving equipment. At night, Christa is decorating the house when Dreeman enters. Soon many visitors come to their house, as it's Dreeman's birthday. Gert keeps listening to everything, and he takes notes of what he thinks is important. The party ends, and all the visitors leave. Then Dreeman unwraps all the gifts he has received. The scene ends with an intimate scene, between the boyfriend Dreeman and his girlfriend Christa. Soon Gert's shift ends, he leaves his workstation, and another man takes his place and starts listening. The very next morning, Grubitz and Gert meet in the office, where Grubitz tells him that he has traced the plate of the car that dropped Christa, and it belongs to Hempf. Then in the night, as Christa leaves a building, the car of the minister approaches, and the minister asks her to come in, and then they start making love. Minister drops her at Dreeman's house, where Dreeman is already waiting at his door, because Gert rang the doorbell, so Dreeman can know about the affair. Christa doesn't notice Dreeman watching from the door, and he also acts like he has noticed nothing, and goes back into his house. Christa goes in to take a shower, and wearing her sleeping robe, she lies in her bed, and asks Dreeman to hold her. Meanwhile, Gert goes back to his home, where he invites a prostitute and enjoys a private session with her. Gert once again can be seen entering Dreeman's house, and looking around. Now, Dreeman is writing, and Christa comes from behind and tells him about Paul Hauser, who has been denied the permit to travel to the West. Dreeman says that such a thing is expected to happen with such arrogant people. And then asks Christa if she has seen one of his books. Then we see Gert lying on a sofa, and reading the book which Dreeman is trying to find. Next, the phone at Dreeman's house rings, he picks and it's a call from Wallner, who tells him that Jerska has hanged himself. After hearing the news, Dreeman goes numb, and after a while, puts down the receiver. He goes to his desk and picks up the book he received from Jerska, as a gift on his birthday. Dreeman plays his piano, while Christa stands behind him. Listening to all this, tears roll down Gert's face, and then we see him standing in a lift, where a boy asks him if he is a Stasi or not. The scene shifts to the minister's car, where Grubitz gives him a report about their investigation into Dreeman's matter. Following that, Gert and Grubitz meet in a restaurant. There they discuss Hauser's travel permit that they have revoked, and Grubitz also asks Gert if Krista has met the minister again. To which he replies, they are meeting tonight. We see that Krista gets ready to meet the minister, but as she is about to leave, Dreeman asks her not to go, because he loves her badly, and he knows where she is going, which is not to meet an old classmate. She still leaves the house, saying we must do things for our careers. She goes to a bar, where we see Gert is already present. He goes to Krista and appreciates her work. He also says that she is a great artist, and when she is about to leave, he asks her where she is going. When she says she is going to meet her old classmate, he tells her that she is not being herself. After Krista leaves, he runs to the workstation, and sees the transcription, and comes to know that Krista went back home, instead of meeting the minister. On the next day, Dreeman goes to attend the funeral of Jerska, where he meets Hauser and Wallner. He tells him that he has found something that he needs to get published in the West, and asks Hauser if he will help him with that. Hauser warns him that it is a dangerous thing that he is getting into, and advises him to not get anything published under his name, and says that he will get him in touch with Gregor Hessenstein. Then we see Dreeman, Hessenstein and Paul meeting at Dreeman's place, where they discuss some secret matters, about illegally passing through a border, and a few matters about publishing articles as well. Hessenstein gives Dreeman a typewriter with red ink, and tells him to keep it safe. Although there is something fishy about what they are trying to get published, still they keep saying that they are going to write a play. Gert records every bit of their conversation, and after transcribing it, he goes to meet Grubitz. In Grubitz's office, Gert tells him that their suspicion was unreasonable, and that he found nothing credible till now. And he also says that there is no need for two people to listen and transcribe everything. Grubitz suspects Gert, and asks if he is hiding something. Gert stays silent, at which Grubitz says, I will remove the other man on the duty. Gert goes back to his duty, but we see that he is not writing what Dreeman talks about. While Dreeman is busy writing an article against the German Democratic Republic, GDR, Gert writes something about a play. Dreeman can also be seen hiding the typewriter under the door sill. A few days later, an article against the state, about hiding the suicide rates in GDR gets published in the Spiegel. Grubitz's suspicion goes toward the writer, and he calls Gert to confirm. Gert says he hasn't heard him write anything on such a topic. Grubitz also asks him if Dreeman met a guy named Hessenstein, but Gert also denies that. Then we see that the minister meets Grubitz, and asks him to get done with Krista. Grubitz gets her to the temporary detention center, and later interrogates her about anything she knows about the article, or if it has anything to do with Dreeman. She starts laughing at the question. Out of nowhere, state security is at Dreeman's house, and we can see them barge in to search for the typewriter. However, they find nothing. Then we see, Gert receives a call. He is informed that Grubitz expects him at the detention center. Gert goes, and Grubitz confronts him about his sloppy performance, and commands him to get an answer out of Krista, and it's his last chance to prove himself. Gert interrogates her, and convinces her to tell them about the typewriter's location. After she pinpoints the exact location of the typewriter, she is released from the facility and goes back home. In no time, Grubitz reaches Dreeman's place. There they look around for a while, and then Grubitz takes a screwdriver to take off that sill. Seeing this, Krista runs out of the house, and stands in the way of a truck. In the house, Grubitz finds nothing, as the typewriter was already removed by Gert. The Operation Laszlo, which was launched to investigate Dreeman, is terminated by Grubitz, as they all see Krista lying dead in the arms of Dreeman. Grubitz knows it's the doing of Gert, and for this, he is put in prison. However, 4 years later, the news of the fall of the Berlin Wall reaches the prison, and Gert is freed. The next scene opens inside a theater. As Dreeman leaves the hall, he encounters Hemp sitting outside. Dreeman asks him why he was not looked into. On which Hemp says, "You were always under surveillance. Every inch of your house was bugged, go and check." Dreeman comes home and opens the switchboards. There he finds all the microphones, and as he pulls the wires, all the microphones are exposed. In search of what happened, he went to a memorial facility, where the documents from East Germany are present. He asks for his record, and a pile of files is brought to him. From there, he sees the code name of Captain Gert, and upon inquiring he comes to know about his savior. He goes in search of him, and from inside the car, he sees Gert, who is distributing newspapers. He asks the driver to stop, and watches for a while, but then leaves. 2 years later, while Gert is distributing the newspapers, he sees a poster of the newly published book by Dreeman, named Sonata for Good Men. Gert enters a bookshop, and he goes to the section where Dreeman's books are kept. He opens one, and on the third page, Gert's code name, HGW20/7 is written with the words, dedicated to HGW20/7, in gratitude. Gert picks one, and goes to the counter to buy it. The seller asks him if he wants to get it wrapped, to which he replies, "No, it's for me." The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.